Hello everyone, and welcome back to PSU LCS. So we're gonna get into another game here in week 3, looking at low expectations versus Sandban, two of our bit more of the middle of the road teams as of the moment, both sitting around the 3 point standing mark, so still in the upper end of the bracket, upper 50%, but not necessarily contesting One Tricks, Mommy's Little Gamers, and all those other top tier teams that we're seeing right now. If you're wondering on the new graphics, you guys can thank Connor or Concal for doing all these for us. They're lovely. I apologize for the scroller for some. I can't get the spacing right on that at the moment. It's a bit finicky, and I'm not good enough with OBS to really do it. So I'll figure that out when I have a bit more time next time. But pretty nice graphics. Thank you, Connor, for whipping these up. It's looks amazing. Um, so far tonight it will be a solo cast, so you're just stuck with me, myself, and I. And we're just waiting for a few more members here to get to game. So once they join up here, should be able to get a start. um, Not entirely sure about any other casters. I mean, if there are any other casters that are watching you want to come in and cast, just hop in chat. I'll be happy to welcome you in. But yep, just me tonight. Back to the good old quarterfinals days, though. Getting back into the game here. Again, like I said, both these teams fairly middle ground. Very exciting to see what they can do overall to kind of improve the standings. Right now, just coming off of the last week's games, we're seeing Sandban go 1-1 with Team Siren. Uh, was it actually a very good two-game stretch there with Siren making some good plays to come back in game one, and then Sandban I think took game two, or vice versa. I'm not entirely certain. Apologies. Low expectations is coming off a 2-0 loss last week to PSU Secret Service, which is one of those like upper tier teams right now. So nothing too crazy there. And now we are getting right on into draft. Four items will be looking very good on that pick, hopefully. Probably the strongest blind top lane pick in the game. Zentriv, though, going to counter with the Riven. A pick we don't see too much here in PSU LCS, or even the LCS aside from one Viper. But can be a very strong pick. Not entirely sure how well it does into the Ornn. Ornn is just super good at neutralizing pretty much any matchup. So, not entirely sure what the Riven's going to look like. Otherwise, though, draft so far kind of going pretty standard in terms of picks. Zac, again, one of those Cinderhulk junglers that likes to build into tank that is going to be very benefited from the Cinderhulk buffs with the new passive. Lots of CC with this is good ganking and engage. Makes it very easy to get just that little bit of extra damage off you would normally be lacking on a full tank jungler. So nice to see Sandban picking up that. Morgana will also be the support lock-in, as well as Veigar in the mid lane for Jace. Pick we don't see too terribly often is kind of one of those niche picks you definitely don't normally see it blind. So would like to see Sandban try to punish that in the mid lane, as low expectations takes off some of the possible picks that would do well into it, like the Diana, like the Sylas, which have that high burst but show very good early game and can get on top of Veigar and just ruin the little Yordle's day. Rumble, though, can do very much of the same work. Has been just absolutely disgusting on the current last few patches. I would expect to see Sakura Wars on that Rumble. Would do probably decently into the Veigar. I mean, Jace Valerian can always just farm from afar with the Q as well as the W. So Veigar has some options there. Isn't the worst of matchups, but isn't good either. And somehow making it all the way down to the bottom of the order is Leona. All too cool, gonna be all too happy to pick up that pick, as Leona and Nautilus, definitely probably the two best supports on the patch still. Just absurd amounts of engage, very guaranteed team fighting, or very easily guaranteed team fighting with the ultimates. Leona has an absolutely maddening amount of CC between the Solar Flare, her W, and her E. All have CC abilities, so can lock down someone for several seconds just continually. And when you combine that with something like a stun cage or a Warwick ulti, or even the Necromancer throwing out the Horn, could be a very lethal combo once team fighting comes down. Though did pick it into the Morgana already, was locked in that first phase for Scallops. Morgana, of course, one of the most notorious supports for neutralizing hard engage via the Black Shield. Throw that on your ally and keep them nice and safe from any encroaching Dredge Lines or Zenith Blades. So should be able to keep Eye Cut for Jesus plenty safe on the Lucian. But even so, Black Shield only works on one person, and that's a lot of CC on LXP. Which kind of leads me into what these teams really want to accomplish once they get into the game. Once they get, like, their team got set up out of the early game, and once we start getting into win conditions, basically, is what I'm trying to get to in this really poor transition. LXP wants to team fight pretty much the entire mid to late game. More late game than mid game, just based on Sandban's comp, but I'll get to them in a minute. You have Tristana, which is great at destroying tower, great at applying pressure, and scales fantastically into the late game. You have a ton of CC and engage. You have Leona, Solar Flare, Zenith Blade. Veigar has a stun cage for zoning or a possible just engage to get on top of someone very quickly. Oro's Warwick is going to have his ultimate for the suppression, as well as, of course, Necromancer with the Call of the Forge God having one of the longest ranges of of engage in the game. So LXP gonna be very happy to pick their own fights and pick when they want to fight, because a lot of all their CC except for really Oro and Altucool are going to be able to be used both offensively and defensively. You're going to be able to start fights with those ultimates around Baron or around an objective, and you're also going to be able to disengage off fights if they start chasing you down a lane or otherwise. And I think that's LXP's name of the game here. It's a nice, simple composition. You can see how it works. Good, solid engage, good backline access, and then you have a solid backline to deal damage and follow up, especially into that later game with a Veigar and a Tristana. Meanwhile, Sandman's going for a little bit of a different look. Still has a lot of those same team fighting elements. You do have the Zac, which is great engage, as well as some lockdown CC with that. You do have the Equalizer off of Sakura Wars, which is going to do so much damage in the mid game. Just absolutely nuts. Morgana, Black Shield, Dark Binding, even with the Chains of Corruption, I think they're called, with the ulti, has a lot of different lockdown that she can use in a fight to kind of be able to deal with some of the engage threats of LXP. None of their engage is unstoppable except for Warwick's ulti, and I guess an orange charge, but So, do have some of the same team fighting elements. I don't think their team fighting elements are as strong once we get to that 30, 35, 40 minute marker. Lucian, very good early to mid game, very like 1-2 item power spikes. After that, kind of starts to fall off, but is from ahead can be very strong even into the late game or just from out execution. Rumble, you're going for that flat pen, that Leandries, trying to get that early damage in and can just cook people alive with the ulti around objectives, around group team fights, that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't see their comp doing super well into the late game. They don't, besides Zac, they don't really have anyone that like hyper scales into the late game. I think Ribbon scales okay, but I don't think he can match the scaling of Jace and Flying Flag on the Tristana and Veigar, who just scale absurdly hard. Tristana becomes a hyper carry. Veigar can just scale literally infinitely. You could technically build full tank on that champion and still have over 1,000 AP, given enough time. So lots of different avenues to potentially take here. Clown Fiesta, please. Well, I think Clown Fiesta is always fun and can be very enjoyable. Would like to see both these teams play some clean League of Legends. These teams are both some of our middle of the pack teams. These are teams that could push up higher in the standings or could even drop down lower and end up start playing in that like bottom half of the bracket that's in the 1-3 range right now, or even if you're a Katsuki 04. So there's a chance to go up or down. It'd be nice to see these teams play clean so that they can prove that they can compete with teams like 2014, like Mommy's Little Gamers, like 50%. All these other skin, or not 50%, I think still have high standings, maybe. But we are getting into games, so we'll have to see if those things come to fruition. I'm still going to give the edge if you want someone win or loss draft. If you want to go with that thing, I do think that on paper, in my own opinion, at this level of play, LXP won draft. I think they're a very solid comp. They have a very easy to execute composition. There's not really too many moving parts in terms of what people have to do. It's all very obvious, nice and laid out. You're not going for something complicated to execute like a poke comp or a split push comp, which requires a lot of macro skill, coordination, and practice. Just going for something simple, something that works, and something that's going to get the job done. I think that Sandman went for something in the same vein as what LXP did, but they didn't opt into as much scaling, as much late game damage. And although that can work especially well if you get early leads, as these champions should be able to, it's also, you got to look at this. This is not professional where everyone's going to be perfectly executing and teams can pretty much guaranteed push leads unless you're TSM. And like close out games. This is PSU LCS. These players are not pro players by any stretch of the imagination. So it is unrealistic to expect that level of execution. So just gonna have to see how it goes. If LXP gets like a vast lead in the early game. I think they can manage to push the lead. If you play it right, get early objectives. One way to push early leads especially well here in Season 10 is actually around that top side Rift Herald. A strategy that many LCS teams have taken up when drafting these heavier early game compositions is to put resources topside, especially in the early game, to be able to get Rift Herald and then snowball a lane, get those like 2-3 plates off a turret, or even get first turret if there's already some plating damage, which is a very reliable strategy to push a gold lane a little bit further. And since there's 2 Rift Heralds, if you can control both of them, that's possibly 2 towers, at least, that you can secure with that. Engage here on the bottom side on his scalp. Ignite popped very early by All Too Cool. Q from Tristana, jumping in, Flying Flag looking for the kill. Finds the first blood. All Too Cool though going to fall to iCut for Jesus just afterwards, and now Flying Flag's left alone. Not too much more trading going in the bottom lane, but a well done early game engage and execution from LXP. Flying Flag jumping in for that final blow. And although Tristana is the late game hyper carry, early level is not too bad either. Does fall into a trough with itemization in the mid game before she really gets ramping up, but is still fairly strong early, which is why you see her in solo lanes so much. And now Flying Flag possibly going for another trade here, jumping in very aggressive. Jesus has a fully stacked Q going very low, but iCut for Jesus with the passive on the double shot, able to claim the kill with just a smidgen of HP left. Calculation was a little bit off from Flying Flag there. Possible gank mid lane here as well. Jason Valerian very far forward up this lane. Found on him as well as Stalker Wars. Has the flash out, has Stun Cage. Is on very low HP, but does manage to walk himself out of there. Oro coming to help, I'd assume, clear wave or just ward off the Zac. All in all, good first gank. Did blow the flash, so possibly a lane to look back into. Veigar, very immobile champion, especially early game. So can be abused when flashless against the likes of a Rumble. Nothing too fancy or proactive yet from Oro, besides helping out his laners. So we'll have to see where he decides to go first, as he's just clearing out his Krugs into the bottom side. Top lane going actually fairly well for the Orange, still very healthy as mid lane gank. Rumble from the bot side, All Too Cool already getting onto 2 down, still has the passive, so he should be fine even if he does explode here. All Too Cool burning down, Rumble doing a lot of damage, is falling very low, probably will be traded first. Stalker Wars claiming that kill immediately. Now Flying Flag might be in some trouble. Harpoons will hit, but not enough damage. 2 Town is back up and ready. Flying Flag looking for the damage. Jace Valerian able to secure it with the Q. And Flying Flag jumps on. I think it was to try to execute the Zac, but ends up jumping right in the hands of the Rumble. Does have to fall back from that trade. And although they're picking up kills and getting these rotations off, will be traded for a lot of minions and XP in the bottom side. Probably going to lose like 2.5, maybe even 3 waves here by the time he gets back. And 2 turret plates over to Scallops and iCut for Jesus. So, all in all, they're making plays across the map and trying to apply pressure. But it's still actually the side of Sandban who's going to reap the benefits from that play, as they just get so much more gold bot side. It's 35-15 in CS. 15 CS is around the vicinity of having a kill over somebody in terms of gold. Depends on what minions you get if you miss some, but around 15 CS is normally the margin. So Lucian technically around a kill up on Tristana right now. So even the play mid lane doesn't matter all too much. Rumble also almost 15 CS ahead in the mid lane. So you have a very similar situation there. And that's what's contributing to this early 900, 850, 900 gold lead that we're seeing for Sandband. Top lane, though, going very well for Necromancer as of the moment. Has his Bombing Cinders completed, going for that Sunfire Cape with the new enchanted passive. Is farming fairly well into the ribbon. Does have an actual small CS lead, which is always good to see if you're the Ornn player, who normally likes to sacrifice lane. Ocean Dragon is started up here by LXP, but they don't have much to go off. A Flying Flag already hit the Equalizer. Ultra Cool might be the sacrifice, and Oro just blast codes right into the Equalizer. He doesn't get the fear on the Soccer Wars. This cage will connect, and Oro's going to actually try to finish off the Drake. Gets the smite, it's not stolen yet, but Soccer Force Fanboy still able to find the kill. Lucian also grabbing a kill on the Veigar, as now Flying Flag just got to run for the hills. Toontown following him as well as iCut. Very low on mana. Q should proc here, but it's not going to do much damage. Gets the W to jump. Toontown should have his momentarily. Misses the Q. Goes in for the jump, is not able to sidestep it. And Toontown flashes out the turret shot's going to grab it in the end, but Lucian able to snag another kill in the process. Ends up being a 1 for 4, I think. To the side of 1 for 3. 1 for 3 over to Sandband. Dragon was secured, but again, you're looking at a really big gold lead developing in this bottom lane already. Lucian up 1,000 gold over his counterpart. Zentriv, though, getting ulted, able to Necromancer with an under turret solo kill. Ornn is very balanced. Holy moly. Alright, so advantage gained top lane for bot lane, I guess, in terms of cross-map plays. Necromancer faring very well on the Ornn. Yeah, Ornn is Ornn's a champion. Possibly, though, out of the fight here. Does not get hit by the knocker from Zentriv. Does get the Q slow. Stunned up, though. Zentriv has the ultimate up and available and is able to find the kill without using it. So, he's traded back 1 for 1 in the end, though Necromancer able to accrue a fairly sizable gold lead now, looking at just about 11 CS. Does not have teleport, so we'll be losing this wave. Oro gonna go pick that one up as recompense. And I will applaud the side of I will applaud LXP for looking for these proactive plays, especially their bot lane roaming around. I like the idea. I like trying to find early leads and find some snowball potential. The thing is, that's not what their team comp has to be doing. Their team comp is totally okay just sitting back and scaling up. And so what ends up happening is they keep pushing these very aggressive plays into champions that are already stronger than them at this point in the game. So they're already taking fights at a disadvantage. Especially now that Lucian's 3-0 and 20 CS up. That's not someone you want to be fighting into right now. That's someone you want to let Tristana get some time, get some items, scale, and just one-shot him later. Topside jungle, Oro does find Toontown on his red buff. Has a smite, so he's able to gain back a lot of health. Also going to buy a lot of CC as the Equalizer comes down. Oro just burning in the pit. Does have the ultimate and the healing, doing a lot of work for Toontown. Again, has the passive available. Red buff secured, but just to be transferred over. Zentriv going to say, thank you very much. I'll take that buff. As re-engage looks from Toontown. Does find the Q onto Jace. Harpoon as well. Now it's Necromancer with the Call of Forge God. Big Arcade also in the vicinity. Zentriv actually going very low. Shut down by the Veigar ulti. Now it's just Soccer Wars. Zac is forced into the passive. Is not taken out. Is on a smidgen of HP. Baleful strike to find the kill. And now it is LXP finding the turn. The Orange so strong with the CC and the Veigar with the cage. And now you have Jace Blair at 3-1 in the middle. Possibly though, bot lane solo kill. Dark Binding finds way. Ultra Cool, that resistance isn't gonna be enough. And another kill for iCut for Jesus. Put that on his tab as a 4. There's another Dark Binding lands. Calling comes out. Is blocked by a lot of minions. Flying Flag able to land the ulti to disengage. I think if he just auto-attacked there, he would have actually gotten the kill anyway. So a bit of a misplay. iCut for Jesus could have gone for a 5th, but decided to sell it for. Oro looking for a gank. Dark Binding does not find its way. Does not have the ult just yet, so only has the fear. Finds the fear on his scalp. Toontown's here for the re-engage. Ignite already onto Oro as he's burning down. Q comes in from Toontown. Gets the CC. Flying Flag very low as now Soccer Wars is joining the fight. Doesn't have the doesn't have the equalizer yet, but he's just going to burn him down with the flames. Their flying flag falling to the roam. Oro able to walk it out as he is pretty tanky on the Warwick. A very good counter game from two-down heads-up play and a good roam down from Soccer Wars to fend off any further aggression. Bit overzealous by Oro. Tower diving the Morgana with Black Shield when the fear's up is kind of Pepega. But in any event, the gold lead now extending to over 2K to the side of Sandband. Just, again, they're finding wins in these scrummy fights, and that's kind of what they should have been doing already. I'm not really sure what LXP's game strategy is. I like some of their early stuff. There's now another engage out. Two-Town finding his way on a Jace Valerian. Fear goes on to 2 members. But the equalizer's out. That's going to be a lot of burn damage. Two-Town also having an ulti. Jace Valerian's very low. The suppression coming in to save the day, but Two-Town flashing up. The stun cage is able to find the 350 gold. A slime flag goes to fight, able to secure it, but goes to Oro in the end. Ends up being a 1-for-1 as now the bot lanes are both involved. Soccer Wars no longer has the Black Shield. Fear comes out, flash forward, and unable to find it. Soccer Wars getting out with the Skill Trap as well as the Scrap Shield. And now the re-engage, all too cool looking forward. Chains coming out onto 2 members. Icon for Jesus goes unstoppable with the kill into all too cool. Soccer Wars even goes into the zone. He is able to buy some time as the Dark Binding lands and a double kill for Icon. Perfectly executed. Just a little health bars remain on 3 members of Sandband, but that is a bunch of gold in their pockets, and they'll be happy for that every single time around. Yeah, as I was saying, that kind of proves my former point. So I like that. I do like LXP taking proactive steps. That's something we don't see a lot in LCS teams. It's nice to see them just not sitting back like entirely and getting blasted to oblivion. The problem is they drafted a comp that should be sitting back till mid game and then scaling. And they're trying to be super duper aggressive into a team that is all early to mid game champions with the exception of maybe Zac. The idea is there, the will is there, but it's just not really what they should be doing. Is all too cool is just getting a chunk for going for vision. Somehow still, Dark Binding onto Altu goes very low. Equalizer onto multiple, a lot of burn damage coming across. Altu cool might just fall from Equalizer alone as the Ward comes in and just blasted to bits. Johnny makes the kills, only class fails. Zentrum's diving onto the team. Finds his onto Jace Valerian. Dark Binding again landing onto Flying Flag. Goes down for the 5th time this game in 14 minutes. Zentrum will take another kill. And now it's the game of bounty collection. Bounties on every single member of Sandband. 200 gold in the mid lane, 150 in the jungle, 200 top, 650 in ADC. And Scalp for these Dark Binding surely deserves his 150. And yeah, now we it's 15 minutes, 7K gold lead. Another Dark Binding onto Oro is going very low. I cut for Jesus at this point in the game is insanely strong. Already has Berserkers and his fort completed, as well as 2 long swords. So it hits like a truck at the moment. And yeah, at this point,
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Veigar, even building AP, is probably going to need around hour and 10 minutes to really get back into this game in any substantial way. Just how far ahead Sandband has gotten. I mean, just look at the item discrepancies across the board. Rumble already has Leandri's a blasting wand and his sword shoes. He's ahead. Zac is specking already into his Spectre's cowl. Ornn is doing it okay. He's still behind because of all the kills. You have around 1,200 in the top lane, and gold lead. Jungle's a 600 difference. It's possibly a pick here on a Stalker Wars. Does pop the QSS, but it's really late as the whole team blasts. Solar Flare finds no one. As Zentrip joins the fight. Stalker Wars still taking up. He's not dead yet. He lives for so long. Eventually, Veigar is able to find the kill, but the team just falling around him. Zentrip flash forward, gets in the stun cage. Necromancer tries to get the knockup. Zentrip gets the brittle passive. Gets knocked up. Jace Valerian able to flash away for now. The re-engage comes to 2 tap. Necromancer in the middle of 3. Dark Binding for once does not land as he is just going to get burned down slowly but surely. Overlord finally coming out. It's off cooldown. Zentrip is going to be cut up by the decaying of the stun cage. 2 down pops. Forward, unable to find anything just yet. Dark Binding not letting Necromancer. Should be able to walk it out. And does. Still, though, ends up being a 2-for-1. I believe. Might have been 3-for-1. I lose count sometimes. In favor of Sandband yet again. And I just realized I forgot to get that was pretty pog there, all too cool. And now you're gonna get called into submission. The AoEs go in, I could use good Gog Light, or tries to find a kill on the support, but can't even 1v1 him. Flying Flag didn't go down, probably to the jungler. Yep, that's the kill. Jace, just back away. That's not a fight you want to take. And the flash engage from All Too Cool, just well intended, not gonna get it done. Jace Valerian burned down by the equalizer, jumps up by Sack, and Sakura Wars picks up his 4th. I'm not really sure what else to go about this game, boys. You guys wanted a clown fiesta. We got a fiesta of some degree. And yeah, this is 18 minutes. 10.2k gold lead. 10.3. I can't say I've seen a team get this far ahead this quickly. PSU LCS. At least in the past split, I'm trying to recall a game. And I can't really compliment Sandband too much for doing anything right. Because their composition should be the one that's initiating these mid-game fights, should be the one that's trying to push an advantage. But low expectations, just kind of. There was a few like nice, cool, proactive plays they made if they set it up right. But you look at the Tristana roaming mid, just left like 3-4 waves to crash on her tower and just lost them all for a gank mid that expended a ton of resources. Didn't really amount to much there. Died a whole bunch of times, didn't lane in the 2v2. Trying to go for plays. Unable to contest with Drake and just kept forcing stuff that they didn't need to force early as the scaling composition. So now, even though, yeah, they scaled super well, they've dug themselves such a hole from just engaging on the comp that was like, oh yeah, we want to fight, but we really don't have that many tools to initiate, besides like Zac. And then this side of LXP just said, yeah, you want to fight, we'll fight you, and we'll lose for you. Because we are just, our champion just by nature cannot do it, as All Too Cool is going to jump in the whole team, does not find the solar plate, just gets burned down, 2 tech, look at that. Necromancer, where did that ulti go? Just off to the side, doesn't hit anyone, does get the knockup on 2 members, Oro finds suppression, but gets burned down by Sakura Wars. Necromancer falling next, Flying Flag gonna go down again. A clean ace in the 4v5. Not a single player goes down. And at this point, LXP, I don't know. I don't know what to say. If they don't want to FF, this is definitely a faster way to end the game than sitting back in their base and turtling. But this is a thing, I guess. This is what we're doing tonight. Gold lead now. Holy cow. What is that? 14k gold lead at 21 minutes. Oh my lord. Normally this is the part of the cast where you go on, the color says stuff about like, alright, so it's looking pretty bleak, but this is how LXP get back in this game. They can totally have the scaling. I mean, there is no way. It would take Sandban actually just walking into the fountain and giving all their gold to Jace Valerian for LXP to even have a chance. Like, that's the only way I can see this working. They're so monstrously ahead at this point. And they can still just find picks because who cares about numbers advantage? One of your players is still worth about 4 of theirs. As there's another kill on the Flying Flag and Oro in the bottom lane. The Rift Herald has just been summoned in 22 minutes because they have that. It's not like they need it. Personally, at this point, I would have saved it for the Dancing Herald. If you want to really make a show of this. And yeah, Toontown's just going to jump under tower. He's just going to jump under inhibitor turret. Into a Leona. And be totally okay. He goes into passive. Zentrip's still alive. Jace Valerian probably going to die here. Zentrip actually has to flash out. Toontown does not die yet. He's still good. Ignite's ticking down. Actually gets shut down by the Veigar. Go back into his pocket. Zentrip also kind of trolling here with the tower dive, but still alive. Equalizer doing a ton of work. Flying Flag and Necromancer just die. Yeah. The Oro chasing the Fed Riven. Gets the fear. Zentrip has the ulti, just kills him. That's what happens when you have a 2.5+ item Riven versus a barely jungle item Warwick. You're still building damage. Not building tank yet. And, yep, Ultra Cool can go for the engage onto Zentrip. Zentrip literally going to take no damage. And I Cup for Jesus goes legendary. There have been 46 kills in 23 minutes. And 37 of them have gone over to the way of Sandban. And this is just at this point, they can pad the KDAs. They're resetting, they're buying items. Each of them was probably sitting on around 500 to 1,000 gold at the minimum. They've extended their gold lead from 14k to 17k. Baron is available if for some reason they really need it. They could probably just walk in, take the next turrets, and just end the game, just straight up. I don't know, chat. What's your opinion on this? I think that Zentriv and Sakura Wars could 2v5. Necromancer, though, possibly getting a pick here. Actually, a ton of damage. Will stun up, and that's just a bunch of CC. 1,000 gold shutdown comes out. Finally see someone on Sandban actually screw up. Does it matter, really? No. Baron's going to go down. There's 2 waves of super minions in base. I mean, I Cup for Jesus loses his spend KDA. He has a death. Actually, that doesn't actually affect his in-game KDA at all, but I don't know what his overall is off the top of my head. Drake is spawning. The entirety of LXP actually did go in there to contest for some vision. They put vision down on it, but if you're putting vision down with no intent to defend it, you're kind of just wasting gold on control wards. Who knows? Maybe Sandman just wants to see how much they can play with their gold lead and just stall for Elder. Who knows? Can just go for the India. They have Baron buff, they have 2 Cloud Drakes and Mountain Drake, which really don't amount to too much, honestly, in terms of stats. That's actually pretty minor. But yeah, this is the death push. There's pretty much nothing LXP can do at this juncture. The gold is just way too favored on the side of Sandban. As, yep, Toontown going in for the engage. Will this be CC shaded? Jace Valerian gets a quick kill with the ultimate. Zentrip diving in, has a GA, so doesn't really care if he goes down just yet. Necromancer able to keep it up. Zentrip going very low. Shutdown onto the mid laner. Shutdown's actually coming across the board. Sandman is kind of trolling this one. I cut, manages to slay Oro, gets his 13th of the game. Necromancer's still very healthy. He does have 2 Ornn upgraded items, and Sandman just threw a fight with a 17k gold lead. That's pretty Papega. As if this game couldn't get any just straight up stranger. All too cool engages on the Morgana with the black shield, almost dies. But Icut actually going very low, pops the QSS immediately, does get flying flag, but Necromancer able to pick up the cleanup kill anyway. The support Scallop almost going down. Necromancer gonna chase for the kill. Yep, Spooky's not gonna do anything. Black Shield's still online. Dark Binding gonna hit. TP coming in from Zentriv. I don't know why you stood Cage around the main instead of just putting them where she's gonna pop out of the teleport. Does pop the QSS to get out anyway. Does slay all too cool. Jace Valerian going very low. Pop the stopwatch. Spear coming in for work done by a little bit of time. Zentriv still getting onto the back line. Jace Valerian not down just yet. Flash forward. Zentriv finds yet another kill. Probably gonna go down to minions here. Smite comes in from Oro to stop from running. Yep, gets that kill as well. And I don't remember who it was, but someone asked for a fiesta this game, and welcome. Welcome to the fiesta. Sandband are not ending with a almost at 1.20k gold lead.
Blue team's inhibitor.
I mean,
Soon.
it's still 12.5k gold lead for Sandband. That's still pretty insurmountable in terms of all. I mean, if you want to be really picky and go with the LCS thing that each Ornn item is about 1,000 gold, then realistically it's still a 9k gold lead. That's not by any means a small difference, and none of those items are on your Tristana, so who really cares? You had 2 on your Ornn and 1 on your Warwick. I mean, you don't even have your Veigar's Zhonya's upgraded. I mean, I guess he's gonna get death cap eventually, if that time ever comes to pass. Sandband does have all 3 inhibitors up, so they get 1 brief respite. Or not Sandband, LXP does have all 3 inhibitors up, so you get a brief respite from incoming minions. So Oro caught out here by Soccer Wars, does manage to get over with the Q. And this should be, at this point, I think Sandband's done playing with their food. They're done screwing around. They're just going to slowly suffocate LXP out of the game. Toontown gonna try to get his inhibitor with Soccer Wars and company. Finds his knockups. All too cool to ult himself, but gets absolutely no one in the process. Black Shield's gonna come out by the time. Necromancer finds his ult with Soccer Wars as the back line gets no. Center finding 1 kill as Zach ult gets another. Toontown getting fresh by the Warwick. Necromancer has a Stone Blade, has a lot of HP, but might not be enough. Icon for getting Jace Valerian. Soccer Wars picking up another in the back. And all too cool still somehow alive after being in the middle of that fight. Zentriv gets some fear placed on him as the inhibitor falls. All too cool left out to dry and left out to die once again. Oro, at this point you might as well sit in the next spot. There's not really much you can do. Gets a nice spear, but gets cut down in the end. Zentriv picks up his 13th. The Nexus quickly diminishes in HP as I can produce the Scallops post the picture. And that will be the end of a genuinely surprising and genuinely just that was something else. That was a thing that happened. I will give it that. That was a thing that occurred, and it was interesting. So yeah. Stuff to work on in that game. Sandband, I will criticize you a bit because you deserve it. Don't int your 20k gold lead away tower dive under Nexus. Just win the game so you can go next. Easy. My recommendation, just don't int. For LXP, if you draft a late game scaling comp, do not fight the mid to early game composition in fights you know you cannot win. And then just die. Like, I'm not really sure what else to go off of there. There just isn't much. It's they had the late game comp. I understand where they were going for it. I like the idea. They had so much zone control, so much good team fighting, and then they went in the early game and just I can't criticize them too much for the proactive plays. I liked that they were trying something new. I liked that they're trying to do some rotations, try to get some things done. But it just wasn't the level of play that's necessary behind those plays. Like the setup wasn't there. You look at that. I'm gonna keep pointing this out. The flying flag, all too cool. Roam up mid lane for like the one kill they got, and it still got traded back. I'm pretty sure anyway. So like, didn't matter in the end in terms of gold distribution. But all around, I like that play. Trying to get that rumble behind, get your Veigar ahead early, and then you can try to snowball that lane a bit more into the mid game and just try to neutralize that matchup. But you can't go when you have Lucian just sitting in bot lane, power like clearing waves. You can't do that because you're gonna lose so much experience early. Because they roamed up at like level 4 or something. It was very early on. Might even been level 3. So they roamed up super early. They got one kill. I think one was traded back again. I'm not sure, so cite me if you can. That'd be fine. And then Lucian gets like a 20 plus CS lead in the bot lane. Flying Flag loses all of his experience. And then they just auto lose the 2v2 from that point out. iCuff4G is just able to sit under turret and deal as much damage as he darn well pleases. And we are going to get into draft here right now. I do have to update the graphics on the screens, so sorry about that, guys. I'll get that switched around in just a hot second. Alec, the size is switched right now, so you have to give me a minute to fix that up. Buttons. So, getting back to draft, sorry for the delay, I just need to switch up those graphics real quick so I didn't forget. Ornn ban, Veigar ban, still gonna be banned out by Sandman. Did find those things kind of troublesome in the mid game, considering even with 17k gold advantage, found Necromancer and Jace still able to do some serious damage and possibly just instant kill them. LXP meanwhile keeping with their former bans and then banning out Zentrip's Ribbon, just deciding they're not dealing with it. Which, based on the performance last game, I can understand. Aphelios locked in for iCut. Good pick. Meta is very good right now in the ADC rule. Just in general, if you watch any pro play at all, I'm sure you understand. LXP actually going to go with the Ashe, something we don't see too terribly often right now. Is still a very strong pick, can be very good in lane, but just isn't super meta. And Oro's pick I am very confused with. Trundle is very strong right now in the current meta. He's been buffed for something like 3 patches in a row before this patch. Season 10 has been very kind to him, but you still kind of want to choose Trundle when you're into compositions that are going to be tanky, are going to have those stats for you to steal with your R and just be able to shred through with consistent DPS. And because they just lock in the Trundle, Sandbag can say, alright, we just don't draft a lot of tanks, I guess. Or at least not ones that'll be stacking a ton of armor and resistances that Trundle could steal, but rather maybe HP. And that's what they do. Toontown immediately picks up the Gragas, which I assume is for himself. Soccer Wars picks up Irelia. That could be flex top or mid. Either way, still a very strong pick. LXP also going with the Yuumi. Has been getting some buffs since its mini rework. Yuumi wasn't in the best place. Got a few hot fixes. Got a few just like numbers pushed up, so can be more viable. Not really sure how the Ashe Yuumi combo really works. That just feels like a lane you're guaranteed to lose, especially against the likes of an Aphelios. Like if Sandban chooses to pick up the Leona, which is still up for grabs, I think they have a very strong 2v2 kill lane into LXP. But the set going to be looking to neutralize something in the top lane. Set pretty much beats everyone save maybe Darius, Mordekaiser, and like Kled is a specific counter pick, but all of those very good in a set as that is solo lane Aphelios. That is solo lane Aphelios. That's kind of troll. Yeah, they just straight picked rolls. Alright. That happened. Scallop's also going to be playing the Pikes. There's a ton of just AD on this team. Thank goodness they picked up the Gragas for the AP support. But kill lane and bot, you have Kai'Sa and Pyke, which are both going to work. Judging from the heal on Soccer Wars, yep, will be the fellows being piloted in the middle lane this time around. Ashe Yuumi in the bot lane should be fine for Kai'Sa to scale up. Pyke able to possibly get a kill onto the Ashe, given that there's no like counter re-engage. Syndra is going to be the final pick for Jace. Strong mage, has a lot more early presence than the Veigar, and I actually really like the pick into the BM pick of Aphelios, because Syndra has a lot of early burst damage and like pretty easy to hit CC, I'd say. Scout of the week, very consistent. You can get some just every time you cast it, you hit a stun kind of plays. And with that, Syndra can easily 100-0 Soccer Wars if he's not careful or if he's mispositioned. Not sure right now about the Irelia pick on Zentriv top lane. I'm sure he's very good on the champion. Set, though, is very powerful brawler. Generally speaking, you never want to be in melee range of a set. But, hey, it's there. So, back to what we talked about last game, and I got horribly wrong. Let's discuss win conditions. So, Sandban this time has a much more complicated composition overall. Even if you don't consider Aphelios just straight up troll, like G2 style pick. Much different composition than we had last time. We don't have really anything that's built around team fighting. You have 280 carries, you have an Irelia and a Gragas and a Pyke. I see that as a very big pick-making thing, like pick-making comp. Something that gets a pick on like 1-2 guys on a rotation or something, catches people out, and then really exploits that numbers advantage when you get into lane again. So you have the Gragas, I'm assuming, going to be going very close at par with Zentriv come the mid-game, travel around with them, get quick picks, get Kai'Sa and Pyke in that mix as well to be roaming around. Pyke, one of the most notorious roaming supports in the game, beaten by the likes of Bard. So lots of different just pick-making people here. iCut obviously does have the killer instinct where she can just ult into the entire team, one-shot someone with a Cathy and Rain late game and clean up. The only part of this comp that I don't think really fits the bill is actually Aphelios. I get it's kind of like a throw-off pick to lock it in first and then like not put it ADC, but if you were going for like a pick making composition, I'd maybe like want to go with a mage like Zoe. Zoe, generally speaking, has a decent matchup into Syndra. Can outplay, does have a lot of different potential to roam around, get out of lane, make picks on the enemy team. So I would have maybe liked to see a Zoe in that position or some other equivalent champion and not the Aphelios. So I'm not sure if it was worth the deception and draft to then have that go mid against Syndra. LXP also not really going with like a surefire composition, just a lot of different main matchups. I think Jace went off Syndra for comfort and just a strong lane into the Aphelios. Can abuse him early game. The Trundle pick, I would hope, is comfort, because there's really no super good reason to play it here. There's no real tanks on the side of Sandban. I mean, I guess Zentriv and Toontown maybe will have some resistances. Maybe he steals it off of Scallops if he procs the Aftershock. But the only real other true tank in the game is going to be Set. Necromancer piloting that in the top lane, which again is more just like, I feel that was a winning lane matchup. It is a very strong champion, so don't blame them for picking it just at all. But should I feel like have the winning matchup into an Irelia, especially early on? Not sure how that matchup goes later in the game. Haven't seen it very much. But possibility that it's like good for Zentriv. I mean, he could just straight outplay it too, which is another possibility. So there's also that going to be potentially on the table for that team. Rune choice is fairly standard overall. Predator Gragas, yay, that's pretty standard. Would like to point out that Yumi's actually going with the Summon Aerie, so going more for healing / like mini poke composition, I guess you could call it. Instead of like something like the Comet. Kaisa going press the attack, and then it's actually Aphelios going Conqueror. Now, for me, this would state that just like in terms of playstyle, you're going to be playing a lot more aggressively on the Aphelios than you may normally see in like Pro, where you have the Braum always peeling for you or something. Because you got to stack Conquer, and on ranged champions it takes a bit longer. It takes double the time to stack with abilities. So, with something like maybe the Chakram, or you got Severum out, and you just press the Q and it does like 10 or 15 auto attacks in a really short span of time, I can see the Aphelios using Conquer very well. I'd be curious to see how the rune pays off, though, when you have guns like Calibrum and Gravitum, which don't necessarily have the highest attack speed and can't stack that passive as fast. Either way, LXP has a lot to think about here in Game 2 if they want to stay afloat, if they want to keep their stance in the league and not fall behind the other teams. Staring down the barrel of a very scary gun after Game 1. So, going to have to see how they come back here in Game 2. If they can figure out their style, figure out what they want to do on the map, and make the smart plays that will win them the game. Have the tools to do it. They have a lot more early initiative than they do last game. You have a Syndra mid, not a Veigar. You have a Set top, not an Ornn. Lots of damage able to be dealt. So, if you're still looking to go with those really aggressive early plays, I think this is a better composition to do it with. Sandban, though, just continuing the streak of good feels as 5 men go topside. Necromancer sitting in Tribrush should be able to spot this one up. Yep. Just backs off. Everyone he is spotted in kind. They know they have been found out. Visual update for Aphelios. You now can see his offhand and primary hand. Very nice and clearly there. Calibrum, Severum, always to start. Invade, though, on the bot side as well. LXP countering once they saw everyone top, so they are sitting in the bottom end of the map. Blind Fly gets a ward down into the brush. Spots everybody out. Not sure if anyone was spotted necessarily, so they won't stay around for the fight. Shall just back off towards their own blue buff. And we will not get anything spicy to kick off Game 2, sadly. Both junglers starting bot side. Probably meaning Pathing going to be going toward the top side for both of these jungles to start. Gragas actually going to clear the Raptors and have a good clear with the barrel, of course, but I doubt he'll go for the full clear down to Krugs. Probably just go maybe Wolves or probably the little bit quicker route of Blue than Raptors. Jace actually taking the brunt of a lot of bad trades with Calibrum. Already down to half HP popping. Has popped both of his pots off his Doran's ring already. So Sakura War is doing a very good job of using the Syndra in the level 1 trading before Syndra really gets a lot of her capabilities to fight back in this lane. Oro though coming in for a bit of a transition gank mid. Finds a pillar but not any damage. And Shao just walk up towards his own Raptors and red buff respectively. Interestingly, did full clear bot side. So trying to already having that full clear. Gragas though about a camp ahead at the moment. Even out just with that red buff. Will be the first one to scuttle, so should be able to pick up the first scuttle crab nice and easily off spawn. But instead of setting up for it, decides to go back to the ground. So both junglers doing near a full clear. Oro not grabbing his Raptors. Toontown not grabbing his Krugs, which is actually better overall for Oro in terms of XP if he can get this Scuttle Crab. Because the Krugs give you a lot more XP than the Raptors will, so does have that small advantage going for him. Does actually give him a level up in this fight. He's already level 4 to Toontown's level 3. So has the advantage here if he decides to contest it. Comes on, Smite goes the way of Oro, so he does get that as well. Toontown going pretty low, around to a 30 HP, but Sakura Wars does get first rotation with that mid priority. And is able to ward off any further advances. Zentriv is half HP, so they might not want to fight this. Zentriv possibly getting found out. Just immediately flashes to Tri-Brush. Not going to deal with that set bundle combo early on. Bot lane though, going pretty quietly thus far. Ashe and Yuumi providing a lot of poke damage at this point in the game. Sakura War is also doing a very good job in this mid lane. Jace Beleren already out of mana, no pots, no real healing to spare. So I felt this matchup actually going a lot better than I originally anticipated into a Syndra. You'd think that'd be very Syndra favored at first glance on paper. Sakura War's fanboy does finally grab him. Jason's very low, flashes away before any more Infernum auto attacks or Qs can come off. Smartly so. Does have to back, so probably was going to lose battle weight. Does have TP. Zentriv. Yeah, this top lane is not going well for the Aurelia right now. Necromancer going to be able to be in complete control of what happens in that top lane for the foreseeable future. And unlike game 1, we're playing a lot more standardly. I think LXP have kind of realized, like, alright, we were a bit hyphy in game 1, bit hyphy. And don't need to be so just insanely engrossed on destroying them for minute 1. And are playing this a little bit more slowly, a little bit smarter. Less LPL, more NA, one might say. Bone Skewer does find its way into all too cool, so W disabled for like 5 seconds, I think it is, 5-6 seconds. Doesn't really feel like going into anything screen gauge wise. Kai'Sa pretty weak, honestly, in this early stage of the game. Does scale up to be a monster, but needs some decent amounts of time to get there. Which means that without priority bot lane Dragon going beyond the eyes of Oro. Should be able to secure that one with no problem, though. Soccer War's not even going to bother to go and contest. And LXP able to find themselves a Drake. Still around a 0.7, about 700 gold deficit for LXP, even with the dragon. Sandman is farming better. They're just farming much better. Belios 17 gold, 17 CS lead in mid, 12 in the bot lane for the Kai'Sa, even though she's been getting pushed in more than the Ashe. So able to find gold leads just through sheer ability. Zentrib, though, going in, finds the Vanguard, but Necromancer gets the Showstopper to get out. Reset onto the Q with these stuns. Zentrib gonna form up. Necromancer actually falling very low, was not able to hit the true damage. First blood of the top lane. Zentrib with a 1v1. And now this matchup might be swinging against the flow of the game thus far. Well played by the Aurelia. The Sheen, probably the reason that one was going so well, but first blood this time at 8 minutes. I think there was already like a 7k gold lead at this point in the game last time around. So a little bit less than optimal. In terms, for Sandban's terms at least. Might actually have to play this game to determine who wins. Even so, good early objective control by the side of Sandban thus far. Does lose the first blood kill, but not the end of the world by any means. Set's still going to be very strong, still scaling very well in the late game. Can make some pretty good plays. Bot lane right now, just a farm fest, really, and going wildly in iCut's favor, surprisingly. You'd think the poke lane would have the advantage here, as Caliber mid does mean that Jason's going to have a very hard time doing much of anything against Sakura Wars. Finds a way into Flying Flag, flashes immediately last. Final chapter coming out, as is the Enchanted. Cristoria Scalp's going very low with the Ignite, but does not fall just yet. Flying Flag getting a lot of damage on iCut and Venus. Killer Instinct, Motion Critter, bring him back, but the healing is just way too much. Flying Flag also not just able to find the kills. Oro coming in for the cleanup. Flying Flag finds one, Scalp manages to get out. And a great turn from LXP. You can't engage on a Yuumi, and you can't engage on an Ashe. So, very good little outplay there from Flying Flag. This time, he's not jumping into the enemy team. He's going to let the enemy team jump into him to find the advantage. And that is probably for the better, judging how last game went. Top lane still actually pretty even. First blood kill not doing too much for the side of Zentrib. The Aurelia not incredibly overpoweredly strong at this point in the game. Set's still very well off. Though maybe having to play a bit more conservatively than he would like. Zentrib does have the CS lead right now. Big wave scratching though. Does get the Crypt Execution. Flash from Necromancer finds pretty much nothing. Vanguard's Edge able to do a little bit of work with the reset there. Zentrib has to burn his flash as well as the Showstopper puts him back and under turret. Trade of quite awkward flashes actually in the top lane. Oro does have the inside track here. Sakura Wars does get stunned up. Pillars himself off getting the initial engage. Sakura Wars immediately flashed out though, is still immobile. Finds the Chakram ulti, so should be able to get a lot of trade damage. In stacks Conquer with the ult out from Oro and will be killed. Scalps though coming in with the Bone Spear, still has the ult for the healing. And there's death from below. Scalps getting the kill, Toontown flashing in, body slam. But doesn't get the kill, Jace Belair, and not out yet. One keg over the top to finish him off. Take that one for the road. Gragas giving you one for the fountain. and overall still ends up being a net positive for Sandband, even though Soccer Wars does get caught out, does fall in the mid lane, being a little bit overextended without proper. This time around, Sandband mains control of priority in bottom lane. Teleport coming in from Jace Belair, and they want to contest it. Enchanted Crystal Arrow finds its way onto the Kaisa, as does the final chapter. Rooted up still, finds the Killer Instinct back in the middle of the team. Will survive for now. Also cool, going very low. Just barely gets out with the zoomies. Now it's Jace Belair in on, or Soccer Wars in on the side. Going to burst down Oro. That's the power of the Chakram Infernum combo. And it's Dragon and 1 plus the TP all gained by Sandband an advantage. LXP overcommitting a little bit for a fight they just couldn't take. I think I mean, it was definitely contestable. They were just a little bit late to the TP. I also think that was a bit misexecuted by Oro and Jace specifically. All of them kind of went in different directions. No one really wanted to keep focusing on the Kaisa once the Killer Instinct was back in the team. And at the same time, they also didn't want to turn on the Soccer Wars coming in from the flank, so they just kind of sat there really awkwardly and didn't do anything. Yeah, top lane trading going a little bit more in Venture's favor this time around. Sandband picking up around a 2 3/4K gold lead. A lot of that actually coming off of farm differentials. 20, almost 20 in the top lane. Mid is a 40 CS lead for the Aphelios, which is absolutely massive. Showstopper brings it back on the tower. Vanguard then comes out, gonna try to get the pick up, but no! The shield off the Haymaker too much. Oro gonna be able to walk out just fine. Even the King doesn't do much at all. Toontown not gonna really be too troubled by the Trundle. And good turn again. LXP this time, not the ones taking the backstage. Also, cool gets hit by the Bone Spear. Cannot jump back into the Ash. Scallops probably could have gone forward there had the death from below available. Kind of troll that he didn't use it. High cut for Jesus, gonna be caught up. Enchanted Crystal Arrow as well as the Lost Chapter Flying Flag, gonna be trying to do some damage, but the Killer Instinct comes out to get him away. Now it's a pass. Talk doesn't get it in the bush, but here comes death from below again. The gold will still come over. All too cool going very low, and a double kill for Scallops. Gold in the pockets, and that'll be a 2-for-1 in the bot lane. And Pike showing up in here in game 2 to keep the lanes nice and in the favor of Sandband. Map state though, even with the 2v2, I don't know if you call that an outplay. I guess it's an outplay by Scallops and Icut. I mean, the Killer Instinct was into the bush was a good play, but after proccing Kaisa's passive, I mean, Scallops just kind of pressed R. Not gonna lie there. But either way, did manage to win the 2v2 fight, even with the initiation from the side of LXP, Lost Chapter plus Enchanted Crystal Arrow. I think their CC was a little bit too overlaid. Flying Flag probably could have waited like an extra second before the Lost Chapter finalized, before the root wore off, to throw the Crystal Arrow so they just give that a little extra time. Very possible. Not totally sure though. Can't, again, off the top of my head, very hard to like think of the timing like exactly as how it went in the fight. Even so, gold lead continues to expand, now around to a 4K. And but with only a few kill advantages, relatively even objectives, all this gold lead is pretty much entirely on CS, and that's kind of been the difference of this game. 138 to 96, 141 to 106, 146 to 129. Very large farm leads mounting in having kills or even multiple kills over your opponent in all of these lanes is really going to be a substantial advantage for Sandman. Oro could be in trouble here, actually. Mid lane, Sakura Wars. Pillar misses as well as the Scout of the week. Now Oro stunned up. Gravitum ulti coming down. Oro going very low. Zentriv able to get the kill with a flash forward and Blade Surge. Finds that one nice and easy. A very nice roam down from the top laner of Sandband to counteract the spotted Trundle as gank bot lane. Both hits the flying flag. Flashed away, but might not be enough. The final chapter comes out. Actually manages to buy some time, but Toontown just slays him with the ulti. Not even the ulti, just with the barrel. Necromancer TPing, possibly do Death Showstopper. Gonna buy some time. He's going very low. Finish stop for Necromancer. A Haymaker does so much damage. Last chapter already used. Can't pop it again just yet. Necromancer very healthy. Now Soccer Wars joins the play, finds the Gravitum, finds the Infernum. Damage, death from below though, not even close. What's going to do is Fire Scalp, finds the CC, and there's the keg that I mentioned earlier. Throws over the top, secures the kill, and it's a 2-for-1 for Sandband, able to trade up once again with these plays. Cloud Drake started up, but just a little bit low on the health bars, so Sandman not exactly too excited about taking this. Jace Belair gets, oh my, that damage from Chakram's insane. Oro has the cat on him, jumps off as soon as it goes in, and just gets bursted down. Oh no, the healer leaves the Trundle to die, and the Trundle is having a very sad day. Another Sky of the Week miss, Scrap all comes out. The Bowsker actually is just short, so Jace able to flash away. Zentriv now in the mid lane as we prepare for the Drake and a little bit of NA Ram. Ooh, that was actually very chunk. Could see. Yep, will be a kill. Jason Blaine able to get that with the stat checkman ultimate. So Jason able to find one return kill. Soccer Wars just a little bit out of position there with not a lot of HP to spare. Necromancer also able to go into the top lane, get some free turret damage as the Aurelia roam down bot lane does greatly equal out right now the CS difference. Big wave though crashing the turret means that Zentriv probably gonna be able to pick up a lot of that in return. Once again, we're getting these nice little lull states in. This is a bit of a smarter game of League of Legends if I had anything to say about it. Just very slow, very calm and calculated. Not too much going on here at this point. Predator Croc by Toontown though. Gonna try to go for gank. Scout of the weekend to make sure that's not gonna happen. But yeah, what these lulls are doing is they're kind of allowing, I think, a little bit of breathing room. LXT last game tried to push plays really, really hard and just over pursue it. So they're taking a little bit slower, trying to get stuff organized, but possibly a little bit too slow here as no one rotates mid lane, so that will be the mid tier 1 already falling. TP from Jace Valerian just to get back to the mid turret to contest as Blind Flag's coming for the flank. Bone Skewer fine from Scalp. There's a level down. Chance with some arrow as well as the Lost Chapter coming out. Now it's all to go in the back line, and Death from below is all he will find on that flank. Just caught out of position. Great cast from Jace, or onto Jace Belair, and Soccer Wars find that go before the Death blows. Skill traded for Oro. Down going very low. Tower actually able to find the second shutdown. Killer Instinct not available. Can't over pursue the Trundle, who is very low, but besides that end part of the dive where two players died to turret, great turn on the Ashe. Good job from Scalps predicting that the flank was coming from the bot lane. Actually saw them by the, I think on the Dragon Ward initially, possibly, but not entirely sure. But is able to get 2 quick picks. And ended up trading for 2 more in the end because they kinda inted under turret. But hey, it happens. You're still up like 7.4k. Doesn't matter. You're still in plenty of a gold lead. It's still pressure advantages. LXP has not yet gotten a tower, so they have pretty much next to no control over map pressure. They can only shove in these waves and just kind of keep the status quo for the time being until they actually can either win a team fight or get a series of very good picks onto people and can then push an advantage from that. Say, get mid turret, get bot turret, get top turret, get sub turret on the map, and then be able to build pressure off of that lane, being able to push past that where that turret was. Because without getting that mid turret down, it's really hard for LXP to get any control over river or the enemy jungle or just get any deep vision at all, because they don't have any protection the entire way back to their inhibitor in mid lane. Tier 1 is gone, Tier 2 is gone. Sandband can kind of just shove for as long and as far as they want up the map until the base. Zentra, though, just continually farming up in the top lane here. Still has stabilized around that 30-40 CS lead. In the top side, only CS lead for the entirety of LXP. Actually in the jungle, Trundle up 151 to 138. But we can check it by the numbers as well. Top lane advantage by... Yeah, this is what farm does, people. This is what good farming can get you. Only a 1 kill advantage there, but is a total of around 1,000 gold ahead. In the mid lane, I mean, that's a lot of kill difference, so I can't speak too much, but around 1,800 gold there. Bot lane is 2,400 gold between the ADCs. That's almost 60 CS difference. And Kaisa didn't have a kill. Ash has 2 kills. Boston's final chapter comes out into Lango Velo, bursting down by Stalker Ward and company. Now the TP comes in. Necromancer finds a big face breaker as well as Showstopper and is unable to find much more. Oro, though, able to turn as well. Zentra finds a multiple resets to Kaiser refiring in the back lane. Zentra still very healthy, finds the kill on to Oro, and now it's just Necromancer versus the world with a cat. High jumper just flashed away, does not get tagged by the Haymaker. Zentra still in the fight, the Zoom is keeping him very healthy. The Kaiser pass is not going to be fully stacked. And Necromancer able to walk away for now. The health bar is a little bit too low for Sandband, but does end up being a 3 for 3. And if you're LXP, you take those. You take those.
Now you're ready to prowl. It's just you and me, Book.
Thank you, chat, for pointing out that
We got the zoomies.
Gragas has bought the Morello Namicon. Note, I actually don't mind it this game. I don't. Trundle, tons of self-healing. Absolute bonkers amounts of self-healing. Set also has a fair amount with his regen passive, especially in team fights. And then you have Yuumi. Ashe also building self-healing. So I don't mind the Morellos here. I would have preferred to see like iCut spec into maybe an Executioner's. But oh well. Take possibly on the Necromancer. Does have the zoomies, so he will be getting a lot of healing. The Vanguard is going to find his way on a flying flag. Going very low, then finds the reason onto him as it's Necromancer in the backline. Just gets stunned up and taken down from below. And now Yuumi reaching on the backline. Shut down onto Zentra from the Cinder, and Trundle versus the world. The cat is not there. The cat is not there to heal. And that's another kill for the mid lane. Ophelia is bumping up to 6 and 3 with a 9k gold lead overall. And a third Drake to the side of Sandband. Fights right now for LXP just a little bit too broken up. I mean, they started the fight, there's only 2 members there. They get engaged on by the Aurelia. Flying flag gets popped like a grape. Jace Beleren doesn't even get there till like the fight's already over. Necromancer's already in the mix really early, and then Oro comes in right as he dies. Like, you're not getting the actual power of you're not getting really the power of the team comp that LXP is bringing to the table. And I do think they have some weight they could throw around if they actually get their act together. And just team fight as a team. Don't get picked off. Play a little bit safer. You do have to give respect to the Sandband team. If you didn't learn from game 1 where they got almost a 20k gold lead on you and then BM'd you in your own base by inting, you gotta respect them when they get to 26 minutes and build up a 10k gold lead without you actually trolling. Possibly gonna also goal chat. You can't go for vision without a helper. Yumi is pretty much the most useless champion in the game without someone to hang on to. So get Oro. You gotta call your jungler, call your top laner, heck, call the Ashe, because at least you have a Tay Crystal Air to disengage. That Moonlight Vigil is going nowhere fast, but still pick is found. Gets the Graviton to get the root after Scallop's Bone Skewer, but unable to follow up with any further damage. Ooh, Necromancer's actually getting flanked here on Shootdown due to Chan. Crystal Arrow goes nowhere close. As Bone Skewer pulled Necromancer back on the team. Now he's in the middle of 4. Gets the Haymaker, doesn't find anyone. He's using it for the shield. He just exploded. That damage out of Toontown was actually kind of nutty. Pops the Predator to try to get close to Flying Flag. Zender's on the flank already, though. Flawless Duet finds his way on. The ults come down, and Flying Flag falls back to the fountain. That's 2 pretty quick picks. LXD looking for a flank. I mean, you guys take the low percentage plays and you're down 10k gold. That's just the only way you're going to get back in this game. And only way it's ever going to happen. But you kind of need your team there to do it. You can't keep engaging with just 2 people. It's not going to happen. Sandman's doing a way too good of a job of keeping around each other. So, able to do that. Being able to do that just kind of negates a lot of the just Ashen set going on the entire team. Yeah, there are some interesting builds this game. I would have maybe liked to see like a tankier build from Oro, especially considering Cinder Hulk just got buffed, but he doesn't really have any way to proc any passive other than Pillar. So I guess that's still good. It's still not a bad build. I mean, honestly, all the 3 have serve their own purpose, so if that's the playstyle you're going for, that's the playstyle you're going for. But Oro, I'm not sure where that Pillar was going, but it's not going near the Pike, and you definitely don't want to be near the Kaisa. Death from below does not hit, but Killer Instinct finds its way over there. IKPG secures the kill, and now Necromancer in trouble. Lost Hunter already used on Dendrick, gets the shutdown on Sakura Wars. Sorry, not Dendrick, Sakura Wars was stuck in there, so it does end up being a 1-for-1 jungler for mid laner. LXP takes those. Zentrip though jumping on Necromancer with the blast cone. That's a lot of damage. And there's the 14k gold lead wallet smack that LXP just found themselves under. I didn't even see Jace get actually one-shot by an ADC, but it happened. Didn't even have Killer Instinct, but it happened. And that should be game. There's only a second on Oro. He can try to contest if he likes, but there's still 4 strong pushing into the base. Oro gets play in, gets hooked by a Bone Skewer. Carson fast coming out. IKP just flashes forward. Zentrip in the end securing the kill. Now it's just Flying Flag versus the team. Gets knocked up, gets one-shot. Toontown says thank you for the stats padding. I'll take your Nexus now as well. And that will be game 2 again, over to Sandman. Finishing off this time much cleaner, much more controlled play from their squad. Sandman finishes it off 2-0. Should increase their spot in the standings by quite a bit. Overall, these standings are as of week 2. So if you're looking at like totally up-to-date standings, that's not really where you're going to be finding them. But that's kind of your game. With that moves That'll move Sandban up to 4 points, I believe. So that puts him up with currently iZone, Fangirls, FF15, 20, FF15, in that range. So like the 4-6 range. Um, that could obviously change very quickly. 2014 and MLG would be a really good game. If it hasn't, it's already been played though. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that was match of the week for week 2. I can check very quickly if that's the case. I'm pretty sure that was match of the week in week 2. No, 2014 played Yeehaw, brother. All right, who did iZone? Oh, that was they played iZone last week. All right, so yeah, 2014 could play Mommies. That would be pretty pog. That'd be a good game. That'd be a really good game. So, I'm not sure if we have anyone really to interview just yet. Maybe. Ooh, all right, nice. Um, yeah, we will be getting an interview here with the side of low expectations. So gonna hop in real nice and quick, get an interview with them. I think everyone is here but Jace. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So hop in and talk to them.
Let's try not to
Yeah.
slow this
All
down.
right.
There we go.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Bit of a rough 2 games. Bit of a rough,
Yeah.
but we all have them. All have them.
It happens.
Yeah.
So, besides my condolences, a few questions that I just personally have on the. I'm gonna start off with game one. Just go with sequential order here. So I did one thing I actually did like is that you guys try to be proactive in the early game. I like the rotations. I like that. My other question is why? You have a
Uh,
late game scaling composition. That's what you draft with the Veigar with the Tristana. You did good in the 2v2 early in bot lane.
Well,
So my question was the logic behind forcing plays that you knew you could just sit back, give a little bit, and be able to come back from it later.
I think we wanted to keep the tempo pressure up. I mean, we're always a team that's gonna fight it out for Drakes, and I think honestly in the bot lane we push up and then we try and go for vision, and then we'd say like, oh well, let's try ganking or something since we still got the time, and then we'd end up or excuse me, I'd end up inting. Um, and then I just got more and more behind because I'd be like, oh, let's try and kill someone, and then I forget that I'm 30 CS.
Yeah, it did look. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it here for you boys. It looked very disorganized. It was a bit of a rough go, but second game did look better. Um, I will say that I don't think second game was necessarily on draft. I do have one question. This isn't like anything bad or good or just kind of a neutral question, but the Ashe Yumi bot lane. That's not something we see too often in really any degree, pro or
Mhm.
PSU LCS. Can you at least tell me like what is the mindset? What is that trying to achieve in like lane, and why do you value it for the team composition?
Cool. You want to take this?
Yeah, sure. So, the Ash Yumi was we both wanted to have utility. I wanted my Yumi's not bad, so I was like, oh, I'll take Yumi, and then we saw that they had drafted Aphelios and later Kaisa, and so we were just like, what's something we can stay safe with? Um, play all right, get behind a little bit, but it not be that big of a deal.
All right, and there were moments where that did like shine through where you can just kind of play safe and be really utility. The Crystal Arrow final chapter combination did work on a few occasions with that.
Yeah, we just couldn't get that last kill in the drag fight against Kaisa. But oh
A
well.
little bit of a rough go. And again, as are all things to work on still. We are on week 3. It's still very early on in the split. Lots of time to work out the kinks, the comms, all things to be
Yeah.
improved upon later. But in terms of
Yeah.
drafting, I actually don't think you guys had a problem, personally. I think your drafts looked fairly okay. Just strategy wise, I mean, the Ornn first pick was OP.
You want to talk about that one, Necro?
Ornn's kind of stupid. They buffed Sunfire and they didn't nerf Ornn, so he's probably the strongest top laner at the moment. It's kind of dumb.
Yep.
Yeah. So, all right, can you nerf Ornn, please?
I want to give him the largest amount of props for solo killing a Masters player in top lane. Just claps all around.
Very nice to see, at least in game 1, a good start off to the game, which slowly spiraled into madness. But
That's one way to put it.
I mean,
In,
pers-
in like game 2, there were a lot of moments where we couldn't figure out what to do, right? Like, at least as the jungler, I there was no lane to gank, there was no objective to clear, I got caught out and I died, and that happened like 3 times over.
and that is one of those things, I guess, that you could chalk up to. It's week 3. Getting a feel for playing as a 5-man it takes time. I mean, you can even look at the pro scene and see how that affects Team Liquid is still garbage, and it's like week 4. It takes time to learn
Yeah,
how to
I
play
don't
as a
think
team.
Broxa can save him.
But even after the 0-2 today, don't get yourselves all down and out. I think you guys still have a lot of potential, especially considering this was again one of those teams that we can see pushing into that upper bracket of teams. Can't compete with people like IZF and all those guys. So not I mean, don't be happy that you lost, but I think you guys have a lot of good things left to do on PSULCS Spring Split. So
I mean, we were definitely talking about it actually right before you came in. We're showing signs of getting better. It's obvious in our plays. It's just we need to finish that synergy and we actually remember each other's picks, and then we should be good. And then it's just more of the skill improvement after that.
All right. Anything else you guys have to say to this the rest of the club / stream?
Bro, stop banning Yi! Seriously!
We definitely had a lot of fun, at least in the last match, even though we lost, and I can't wait for next week. Only this time maybe put us against I don't know, somewhat same tier opponent, Rohan.
I'm sure he's listening with all open ears and minds. So next week it's Low Expectations versus 2014. No.
I can't wait to go up against Mommy's Little Gamers. I will take my resignation. I will also take that Clemson pick back pool.
In any event, we'll be looking forward to seeing those future games from you guys, and do hope to see some of that improvement that we've been slowly getting hints of throughout the split.
Definitely.
So thank you guys very much.
All right.
All right. That will be the end of our little one-man band here tonight on stream. Once again, I am still Infamous Trash. And thank you guys for joining me tonight here for Another good match at PSU LCS, and I hope to see you guys the weekend. I'm not sure what the schedules are because there's Clash and all that, so might not be any more games streamed this weekend. I know I can't stream tomorrow because I have exams, but we'll have to see. Be sure to keep checking content on like the weekend so we can see when games are being posted. Hopefully, we can stream at least one more on like earlier Saturday, Sunday, sometime in there. Or I can. If someone else wants to pick up the mantle, please do. It's a very fun thing, and it also takes some of the. You guys don't have to listen to me every stream if someone else does it, so get some variety in here. Anywho, thank you guys once again for joining me, and we'll see you this weekend, hopefully, back on the Rift. Peace.